Welcome back to The World Through the Lens. San Diego, often regarded as a paradise by tourists, is a city that effortlessly blends breathtaking natural beauty with rich cultural heritage. Its pristine beaches, sunny weather, and renowned attractions like Balboa Park make it a place many dream of visiting, or even living in. However, beneath this idyllic facade lies a harsh and growing reality, an increasing homelessness crisis that many visitors never witness. The stark contrast between the city's glittering exterior and the struggles faced by its homeless population is a paradox that demands deeper exploration. While San Diego's shimmering coastline and vibrant festivals paint a picture of prosperity, the reality for over 10,000 residents is far less glamorous. As the homeless population continues to rise, San Diego grapples with systemic issues such as economic inequality, high housing costs, and insufficient public support. This crisis often hides in plain sight, as encampments are frequently tucked away in corners of the city, far from the usual tourist destinations. It is a city where homelessness coexists with affluence, a place where those who once lived in stability now find themselves battling for basic needs like shelter. The visible signs of homelessness, though sometimes confined to certain neighborhoods, underscore a much deeper issue within the city's social fabric. From veterans to families and the elderly, the homeless population is diverse, with individuals of all walks of life facing a range of challenges, many of which are compounded by mental health issues, addiction, and past trauma. Despite the city's reputation for its welcoming environment, San Diego is a place where thousands of people are forced to live on the streets, often in conditions that further isolate them from mainstream society. This contrast between San Diego's beauty and its hidden struggles calls for greater awareness and action. The city is in urgent need of a comprehensive solution that does not merely push the problem out of sight, but addresses the root causes of homelessness. Community organizations, local governments, and residents must work together to create sustainable housing solutions, improve mental health care access, and provide job opportunities for those who have been marginalized. Ultimately, understanding the dual identity of San Diego is essential to addressing the homelessness crisis. By recognizing the disparity between the city's radiant exterior and the hidden suffering, we can begin to forge a path toward meaningful change, one where everyone, regardless of their circumstances, can call San Diego home. San Diego, renowned for its laid-back lifestyle and picturesque landscapes, is increasingly becoming home to a growing homeless population. Once a city synonymous with endless sunshine and vibrant coastal living, San Diego is now grappling with an urgent crisis that affects thousands of its residents. With more than 10,000 individuals currently homeless, the city's struggle with homelessness reflects a deeper issue of economic imbalance, rising housing costs, and a lack of sufficient support systems. This crisis is not only pervasive, but has a particularly harsh impact on the most vulnerable groups, such as the elderly, veterans, and families. Over the years, San Diego's homeless population has steadily risen, a trend that is particularly alarming considering the city's reputation for its welcoming climate and thriving economy. However, the growing number of people living without stable housing stands in stark contrast to the image of prosperity that many associate with the region. Among those affected, vulnerable populations are disproportionately impacted. Elderly individuals, many of whom are veterans, face particularly dire circumstances. A significant portion of the homeless elderly population in San Diego is composed of veterans who, after serving their country, now struggle to secure a roof over their heads in their later years. This tragic irony highlights the failure of the system to provide for those who once served to protect the nation. Additionally, families are increasingly at risk. As housing costs continue to rise, many working-class families find themselves unable to keep up with the financial demands of securing stable accommodations. With wages stagnant and the cost of living climbing, these families are often left with few options, leading to an inevitable slide into homelessness. The struggle to balance work, childcare, and financial stability creates a perfect storm, where the dream of homeownership or even renting a modest apartment becomes increasingly out of reach. The rising homelessness in San Diego is not just a result of economic factors, but is also tied to broader societal issues. Mental health challenges, substance abuse, and systemic failures in public health and social services exacerbate the situation. While the city has implemented measures to address visible homelessness, such as shelter programs and temporary housing initiatives, these solutions often fail to tackle the root causes of the crisis. In order to effectively combat homelessness, San Diego must address the systemic issues that contribute to the problem. Vulnerable groups, especially the elderly, veterans, and families, require specialized support systems that go beyond temporary fixes. The city must prioritize affordable housing solutions, mental health care, and community support services to ensure that those most at risk have a stable path to recovery and reintegration. Only by addressing the root causes of homelessness can San Diego hope to provide a sustainable solution for its growing crisis. The homelessness crisis in San Diego is driven by a complex combination of personal struggles and systemic failures, making it a multifaceted issue that is not easily solved. At the core of the crisis are economic imbalances, rising housing costs, stagnant wages, and insufficient support systems. These factors, coupled with mental health issues and substance abuse, create an environment where many individuals find themselves without a stable place to live, pushing them to the fringes of society. One of the primary causes of homelessness in San Diego is the city's deep economic divide. As the demand for housing continues to outstrip supply, housing prices have soared to levels that many residents cannot afford. While the city is home to some of the most sought-after neighborhoods in the country, these areas are often out of reach for working-class families. The escalating cost of living, coupled with stagnant wages, makes it increasingly difficult for low-income residents to secure affordable housing. As a result, many families, individuals, and even professionals who once had stable housing are now finding themselves on the streets or in temporary shelters. Mental health issues and substance abuse play significant roles in the rise of homelessness in the city. Many individuals experiencing homelessness face chronic mental health challenges that are often untreated due to the lack of accessible care and support services. The stress of living without a stable home exacerbates these conditions, creating a cycle of vulnerability. Similarly, substance abuse is a common issue within the homeless population, as individuals use drugs or alcohol as a coping mechanism for trauma, depression, or anxiety. Without proper treatment and rehabilitation programs, these individuals find it increasingly difficult to escape their circumstances. Personal struggles also contribute to the homelessness crisis in San Diego. For some individuals, the loss of a job, a medical crisis, or a breakdown in family support can trigger a downward spiral into poverty and homelessness. Once an individual or family loses their home, it becomes increasingly difficult to regain stability, particularly in a city where affordable housing is scarce. Additionally, systemic failures exacerbate the situation. The shortage of mental health services and addiction treatment programs leaves many people without the necessary support to rebuild their lives. The lack of affordable housing and the underinvestment in public housing systems further perpetuate the crisis, making it harder for vulnerable individuals to break free from homelessness. To address the root causes of homelessness in San Diego, a comprehensive approach is needed. This includes addressing economic disparities, providing better mental health care, expanding substance abuse programs, and significantly increasing the availability of affordable housing. Only by tackling the underlying causes can the city hope to effectively reduce homelessness and create a sustainable solution. In response to the growing homelessness crisis, San Diego introduced an unsafe camping ordinance in 2023, aiming to address the visible signs of homelessness by banning camping in public spaces such as parks, school zones, and transit stations, provided that shelter beds were available elsewhere. The city's intention was to maintain its image as a clean and beautiful destination, especially in areas frequented by tourists. However, while the policy has led to a reduction in visible encampments in certain downtown areas, critics argue that it fails to address the root causes of homelessness, and the overall number of homeless individuals continues to rise. The ordinance has drawn significant criticism for its surface-level approach to the crisis. By focusing on removing people from public spaces without providing sufficient long-term housing solutions, it only pushes the problem out of sight rather than solving it. The policy does not tackle the underlying economic factors, such as rising housing costs and stagnant wages, nor does it address the lack of adequate mental health services or addiction treatment programs that many homeless individuals face. As a result, individuals are displaced to less visible corners of the city, creating an illusion that the problem has been resolved, when in reality it persists. Critics also point out that the ordinance disproportionately impacts the most vulnerable, such as the elderly, families, and veterans, who are often unable to access shelter beds or find stable housing. Without comprehensive support systems and affordable housing options, these individuals remain at risk of falling further into homelessness. While the unsafe camping ordinance may offer temporary relief, it is clear that San Diego needs a more holistic approach to address homelessness. Policies that focus on providing affordable housing, mental health services, and addiction treatment are essential for creating lasting change and genuinely improving the lives of those affected. In San Diego, where the homelessness crisis continues to escalate, community groups, local organizations, and advocacy groups have stepped up to provide essential support to those affected. These organizations play a critical role in addressing immediate needs such as food, clothing, and shelter, while also offering long-term solutions like mental health care and rehabilitation programs. These grassroots efforts are vital as they not only provide direct assistance, but also help shift the public narrative around homelessness, fostering greater empathy and understanding. Community groups and nonprofits have become the backbone of San Diego's response to homelessness. Local organizations, often supported by volunteers, distribute food, clothing, and hygiene products to people living on the streets. These services are especially crucial for those who find themselves without shelter, providing them with the basic necessities to survive. Additionally, many of these groups work to connect individuals with available shelter beds, temporary housing, and transitional housing programs. This network of support helps fill the gaps left by public systems and policies that have yet to fully address the scale of the problem. Mental health care and addiction treatment are also central to the work being done by community organizations. Many individuals experiencing homelessness face mental health challenges and substance abuse issues, which are often exacerbated by their living conditions. Advocacy groups are increasingly focusing on providing access to mental health services, addiction treatment, and counseling. These services aim to address the root causes of homelessness, offering individuals the tools and support needed to regain stability and work toward long-term recovery. In addition to the direct services provided by these organizations, media and grassroots reporting have played an essential role in humanizing the issue of homelessness. Documentaries, feature stories, and in-depth interviews have helped shift public perception, moving away from a narrative of blame and stigma to one of empathy and understanding. By telling the stories of individuals experiencing homelessness, the media has helped people see that those affected are not just statistics, but real people with complex lives and struggles. Through these combined efforts, San Diego's community and social responses are helping to address the immediate needs of homeless individuals while also contributing to a broader shift in public consciousness. As more people understand the challenges faced by those without shelter, the hope is that the city can develop a more comprehensive, long-term approach to tackling homelessness that is driven by empathy and compassion. Homelessness in San Diego extends far beyond the individuals directly affected. It also has significant repercussions for the broader community, impacting public health, safety, and the local economy. The crisis places a heavy burden on public services, straining emergency health care, law enforcement, and social services, while also creating long-term costs that are felt throughout the city. As homelessness continues to rise, these broader impacts highlight the urgent need for comprehensive solutions that not only address the immediate needs of homeless individuals, but also mitigate the far-reaching consequences of this issue. One of the most significant ways that homelessness impacts society is through its strain on public health systems. Homeless individuals are at heightened risk for a range of physical and mental health issues, including chronic illnesses, infectious diseases, and substance abuse disorders. The lack of stable housing and access to consistent health care means that many of these conditions go untreated, often until they become severe and require emergency intervention. This places a substantial strain on the healthcare system, particularly emergency medical services and hospitals, which are often the first responders to medical crises in homeless populations. The result is increased public spending on healthcare services that could be mitigated through preventative care and more comprehensive support systems. The homelessness crisis also presents a challenge to public safety. Large encampments of homeless individuals in public spaces can create hazards for both those living without shelter and the surrounding community. In some cases, public areas become sites for criminal activity, further complicating efforts to ensure public safety. Law enforcement is often called to manage these situations, adding additional costs to the city's budget. While police are tasked with maintaining order, they are not equipped to address the underlying causes of homelessness, such as mental health issues and substance abuse. As a result, the cycle of criminalization rather than rehabilitation persists, placing more pressure on the criminal justice system and further stretching city resources. Economically, homelessness imposes long-term costs on San Diego. The city's social services, law enforcement, and healthcare systems all bear the brunt of this crisis, resulting in significant taxpayer-funded expenditures. The cost of managing homelessness, whether through emergency services or temporary shelters, far outweighs the long-term savings that could be achieved through sustainable housing solutions and preventive care. Furthermore, homelessness can deter business investments and tourism, as areas with high concentrations of homeless individuals may be seen as less attractive to potential customers and visitors. This, in turn, affects the local economy, creating a cycle where both the homeless population and the broader community face economic setbacks. The broader impacts of homelessness in San Diego make it clear that addressing this issue is not only a moral imperative, but also an economic one. By investing in long-term solutions, such as affordable housing, mental health services, and addiction treatment programs, the city can reduce the strain on public services, improve public health and safety, and ultimately lower the long-term costs associated with homelessness. In the face of San Diego's growing homelessness crisis, it is important to look beyond local solutions and examine how other cities around the world have successfully addressed similar issues. Cities like Helsinki and Vienna offer compelling models for tackling homelessness that emphasize not just immediate relief, but also long-term, sustainable solutions. These approaches prioritize affordable housing, mental health services, and community reintegration, elements that San Diego can adopt to create a more effective response to homelessness. Helsinki, the capital of Finland, has been widely praised for its Housing First approach, which provides permanent housing to homeless individuals as a starting point for recovery. The key idea behind this model is that housing is a fundamental need and must be met before other issues, such as mental health or substance abuse, can be effectively addressed. In Helsinki, homeless individuals are not required to undergo treatment or meet certain conditions before being housed. This simple yet powerful approach has been highly successful in reducing homelessness, with the number of homeless people in the city steadily declining over the past decade. By focusing on providing stable housing first, Helsinki ensures that individuals have the security they need to rebuild their lives, while also offering the necessary support services like mental health care and addiction treatment. Similarly, Vienna, the capital of Austria, has long been recognized for its robust social housing programs. The city's extensive public housing system ensures that affordable housing is available for low-income residents, preventing many from slipping into homelessness in the first place. Vienna's success can be attributed to its comprehensive approach, which combines affordable housing with social services such as mental health support, vocational training, and community reintegration programs. This model addresses the root causes of homelessness by providing a safety net that supports individuals throughout their recovery process and reintegration into society. San Diego can learn valuable lessons from these cities, particularly in terms of prioritizing affordable housing and providing wraparound services. The city needs to shift its focus from short-term fixes, such as temporary shelters or punitive policies, to long-term strategies that provide stable housing first. This approach should be paired with enhanced mental health services, addiction treatment, and job training programs to help individuals regain their independence and reintegrate into society. Moreover, San Diego must invest in public housing and affordable housing development to prevent homelessness before it begins. The city's housing crisis is a major driver of homelessness, and without addressing the lack of affordable housing, the problem will continue to grow. By drawing from successful models like those in Helsinki and Vienna, San Diego can implement a more holistic and sustainable approach to solving homelessness, ensuring that those affected receive the support and stability they need to build better futures. The growing homelessness crisis in San Diego demands a comprehensive and collaborative approach to address its root causes and provide sustainable solutions. The key to combating homelessness lies in developing a multi-pronged strategy that goes beyond temporary fixes and addresses the complex challenges faced by individuals without stable housing. This strategy should prioritize increasing the availability of affordable housing, improving support services, and fostering community-driven initiatives. By working together, government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and local communities can create lasting change that helps reduce homelessness in San Diego. At the heart of any solution to homelessness is the need for affordable housing. As housing costs continue to rise, many San Diegans find themselves priced out of the market, leading to an increase in homelessness. To address this, the city must prioritize the development of affordable housing and ensure that low-income families and individuals have access to safe, stable, and affordable accommodations. This includes investing in the construction of new affordable housing units, as well as renovating existing structures to meet the needs of the homeless population. Housing must be seen as the first step towards stability, as individuals are unlikely to regain their independence and well-being without a stable living environment. Equally important is the need to improve support services for homeless individuals. Many people experiencing homelessness face mental health challenges, substance abuse issues, and trauma, which can make it difficult for them to reintegrate into society. Comprehensive mental health services, addiction treatment programs, and job training initiatives are essential to helping individuals overcome these barriers. Support services should not only focus on immediate relief, but also on long-term solutions that empower individuals to regain their independence and re-enter the workforce. In addition to these efforts, fostering community-driven initiatives is crucial to addressing homelessness. Local communities have a vital role to play in creating a supportive and inclusive environment for those affected by homelessness. Volunteer programs, faith-based organizations, and grassroots efforts can provide immediate support and help individuals feel a sense of belonging and dignity. These community-driven initiatives can also help shift public perceptions of homelessness, from seeing it as a social issue to recognizing it as a shared responsibility that requires collective action. Finally, collaboration between government, nonprofits, and local communities is essential to creating long-term, sustainable solutions. These groups must work together to pool resources, share expertise, and coordinate efforts. By aligning the resources of the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, San Diego can develop programs and policies that are both effective and scalable. With a unified approach, the city can create a comprehensive system of support that addresses the many factors contributing to homelessness, ensuring that those affected have access to the housing, services, and community support they need to rebuild their lives. Ultimately, addressing homelessness in San Diego requires a commitment to long-term, sustainable solutions that prioritize housing, support services, and community engagement. By working together, all sectors of society can create an environment where everyone, regardless of their circumstances, has a place to call home. The homelessness crisis in San Diego is an urgent issue that calls for a unified effort across political, economic, and cultural boundaries. As the number of individuals experiencing homelessness continues to rise, it has become increasingly clear that tackling this problem requires more than just temporary fixes or surface-level solutions. A comprehensive approach that involves empathy, innovative thinking, and collective action is essential to creating a better future for all residents, including those who are most vulnerable. First and foremost, addressing homelessness requires a shift in how society views and responds to this issue. Often, homelessness is perceived as a personal failing or a result of individual choices. However, the reality is far more complex. Many people facing homelessness are victims of systemic issues such as the rising cost of living, lack of affordable housing, mental health challenges, substance abuse, and economic inequality. By embracing empathy and understanding, we can move away from judgment and toward a more compassionate response that acknowledges the circumstances and struggles that lead to homelessness. In addition to empathy, innovative thinking is crucial to developing effective, long-term solutions. Traditional approaches, such as simply providing temporary shelter or displacing homeless populations to less visible areas, have proven to be insufficient. To truly address the crisis, new models and strategies must be explored. For instance, cities like Helsinki have successfully implemented housing-first policies, which prioritize providing permanent housing before addressing other issues such as mental health or substance abuse. By thinking creatively and embracing new solutions, San Diego can adopt more sustainable approaches that focus on long-term stability for those experiencing homelessness. Furthermore, collective action is essential for creating lasting change. Homelessness is a complex, multifaceted problem that cannot be solved by any one group or organization alone. Government agencies, nonprofit organizations, community groups, and individuals must work together, pooling resources, expertise, and ideas to create a comprehensive support system. Collaboration among all sectors, public, private, and social, is key to developing effective solutions that meet the diverse needs of homeless individuals. Finally, tackling homelessness requires transcending political and cultural divides. While political differences may make it challenging to reach consensus, the shared goal of reducing homelessness should unite us all. The issue of homelessness transcends party lines, economic status, and cultural backgrounds. It is a human issue that affects every member of society. By setting aside differences and working together with a common purpose, we can create a society that offers hope and opportunity to those who have been marginalized. In conclusion, the call to action is clear. Addressing homelessness in San Diego and in communities across the nation requires a unified effort driven by empathy, innovative thinking, and collective action. By working together, transcending boundaries, and embracing solutions that prioritize long-term stability, we can build a better future for all citizens, where everyone has a safe and secure place to call home. The story teaches us that true change comes not from simply removing visible signs of homelessness, but from tackling the root causes. This requires affordable housing, mental health services, addiction treatment, and a shift in public perception. By working together across political, economic, and cultural divides, we can create long-term solutions that offer not just shelter, but a path to stability and self-sufficiency. In a nation as prosperous as the United States, it is a moral imperative to ensure that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, has a safe place to live. The lesson is that with empathy, innovative thinking, and collaboration, a brighter, more inclusive future is possible for all citizens. Like and subscribe to the channel to receive the best videos about the current world through the world through the lens.